please. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Due to the current federal and state emergency declarations and guidance for social distancing due to the COVID-19 pandemic, this meeting of the Montrose School Board is being conducted in accordance with Minnesota statutes 13D21.021, meetings by telephone or other electronic means. Persons may monitor this meeting from a remote location by going to the district YouTube channel, which can be accessed on the district website. Individuals wishing to leave comments to the board may do this via email at address the board at mountainschool.org. This meeting is being live streamed and recorded. Access to the recordings will be made available on the district's website as soon as reasonably possible. Roll call. Smell.
Here.
Randall.
Here.
Stinson.
Here.
Balkan. Here. Dr. Heller.
Yes.
Vera. I guess you would have to know.
Yeah.
Approval of agenda. Motion to approve the agenda as printed and amended.
So moved.
Thank you, Kelly.
Second.
Thank you, Andrew. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, I suppose.
Yeah.
Travis.
Aye.
Kelly.
Aye.
Andrew.
Aye.
Darren. Aye. We don't have anybody to address the board, so we'll do approval on.
Yep.
Approval of consent agenda items. Then move on them. Or you can go single thing about it if you want.
So move, Chair.
Thank you. Second.
Aye.
Thank you, Travis. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll have a roll call vote. Travis.
Aye.
Thank you. Kelly.
Aye.
Andrew.
Aye.
Darren is an aye. So, resolution accepting gift donations, contribution and requests. United Way donated $562 to the Little Thunder Rocks.
I'll make a motion to receive
Sorry.
that donation.
Sorry, looking great, thank you. You made the motion, sorry, Kelly. You want a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Anybody want to have any further discussion? If not, we will be calling a roll call vote again. Baranzo.
Aye.
Kelly.
Aye.
Andrew.
Aye.
And Darren is also an aye, so that passes. 1.7, superintendent's report.
Okay, in your packet is a copy of my report. First of all, we do need to have a special school board meeting to canvass the election results. We need to hold that on Thursday, on the 12th. They're accepting absentee ballots through Tuesday of this week, so we weren't able to canvass the results this evening. The meeting itself will take probably about 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes. We can do it either first thing in the morning or we can do it in the evening.
The morning would be better for me on Thursday.
I have the whole day, so
Okay,
nowadays,
Yeah, I can make one.
nowadays it's all day.
okay, 7 o'clock?
Sure.
In the morning,
Yep.
that's right.
Okay.
You love coffee.
Yeah, we'll have coffee.
You don't have coffee?
We'll have coffee here.
For the retired guys. Early.
Okay.
Yeah, I know, you have early, I don't know.
Okay, then a reminder that the School Board Association workshop on the superintendent search process is November 19th at 5 p.m. It's virtual. You have
I have a link, so I will forward it, but I'd like to get the emails of the 2 new people, so I could include them in the email.
okay.
We could do that, that'd be great. I envision us meeting here and them being virtual. What did you guys envision?
That'd be my preference. I mean, it's whatever people are up for, I guess, but
Okay.
yeah, they're gonna be on the
They'll be
screen.
on the screen like we do these meetings, yeah. And Vera said she helped set it up.
Okay. All right.
So if you can get me those other 2 emails, then I'll send a group one to everybody.
We'll probably wait until after we get through
After the
Thursday.
canvas,
Yeah.
sure,
Yeah.
yeah, that's fine, that's
Okay.
prudent.
Okay, then, school board work session, we had put one on the last Monday of each month. Do you wish to keep the November 30th meeting on the agenda for a work session?
Unless you guys have something to talk about, I would entertain the idea that the 19th could
Take its place.
take its place
Good.
this time around. I don't have anything else to add to that
No.
work session.
Yep.
Unless anyone else does.
That's fine. If they give us homework, we can change our mind.
Right.
Say what?
If they give us homework, we can change our mind.
How much time do you need to add it back in? Just a few days, right?
Yeah,
Okay, so
I need to know by the middle of the week on, the middle of the week of the 23rd.
before.
Actually, it'd be best if we knew by the 23rd, since that's a week where there's,
It's a holiday weekend.
yeah.
We would probably know that.
We'd know that every night,
Yeah.
probably.
All right, World's Best Workforce Hearing will be at 5 p.m. on December 14th. That will be virtual. But it'll also be right before our regular board meeting here, so
What time is that?
5 o'clock.
Okay.
Then a reminder that during the regular board meeting on December 14th, we will have the budget hearing. And that's the old truth and taxation hearing, but that will be incorporated into a part of the board meeting itself.
Okay.
Then the school board scholarship, you'll need to decide probably in January whether or not you wish to offer a scholarship and the amount.
We could, perhaps put that on the orientation meeting.
Okay?
Would that be fine?
Yep. All right. And that's all I've got.
Thank Thank you. Board committees, staff development. I did virtual, but, or by phone. And they talked about, they talked about, awards, teachers awards, and doing them virtually and doing it by video. And then sending out the video to everybody.
I like the staff recognition.
Huh?
The staff recognition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Staff recognition, yep. And I didn't hear anything back, but I did talk about that. Community ed, Travis and Kelly.
Got notes. Yes, we met on the 22nd of October, and there was a good portion of the conversation again around the budget. It continues to be a challenge. So Bob was intending to meet along with the staff to talk about, some ways that they can reduce costs and increase revenue. That's just kind of where it's at. The loss from last year really can't be recouped, so they're looking for ways to decrease the deficit for this year. And some of the immediate things that they're doing is they're not hiring subs when they don't have to. Marie and Ashley, Trish, and even Bob are filling in some of the daycare areas where they can instead of hiring subs. They did get approval to begin to offer some indoor activities with precautions. And one of those was that whatever school the student goes to, that's where their activities will be. So they're not going into other buildings. They talked about doing some grab and go ECFE classes with the parent educator area virtually, as well as the virtual 4-H classes. But what they've found is because so many kids are sitting at a screen for hybrid and distance learning, there's not a lot of interest in another virtual class. But I applauded them for trying to think of ways to offer something for those that might be interested. Behind the wheel training driver's ed is continuing with some precautions, and they're doing some off-site classes, taekwondo and some art classes. The intent was to do early childhood screening, but I think that ended up getting canceled because we went distance, I think.
I know Renee didn't have to go.
Yeah, so they were gonna still do it, but then we ended up going distance that week, so it had to get canceled. They are trying to target though the older kids and those that might be grant recipients, because they do have to be screened. And then they talked about the plans for the winter brochure, knowing that it's kind of up in the air, but working towards trying to offer something. It's a challenge. They're definitely a challenge.
Do we know, have we heard anything else about being reimbursed for all this daycare expense that we continue to incur?
No.
It's not being talked about, or?
Right. I don't believe we're gonna see any reimbursement.
So how long is it something we can keep doing? I mean, it's like one of these deals where.
So right now, the thing that we are required to provide is the daycare to school-age children of Tier 1 employees.
Yeah.
And that is only for the hours during which school is in session.
Sure.
And it is only for the times during which both parents, if both parents are Tier 1, that both of them are working the same shift.
Sure.
So there are some clarifying items in there that.
Okay.
So maybe I missed this. So we're required to provide daycare, do they not pay for it?
No.
Not very
Required to
cool.
be free.
Oh, okay.
After like 8 to 3 for children.
Sure. And so that'd be kindergarten through roughly 6th grade students that are children of tier 1 boys.
Okay.
That's all I got.
Yeah, I can have a negotiation. You done, Kim?
Mhm.
There's a contract for ratification later in the agenda, so negotiation committee would certainly recommend that. And then we're in the process of negotiating with our clerical team. Had a meeting last week ago today. Okay.
Representative Valerio.
Yes,
You want to share with us your report?
yeah.
Okay.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
So some updates. Coordinating went well with the guests coming in. Student council had a great setup. The only problem with the live stream. Athletic updates. Volleyball beat in 3 sets, which would be a volleyball team in 3 sets for a while. Football had a great win Friday in overtime too. For second or 8th grade having quarter schedule changes for some classes. And then parent teacher conferences are coming up. The TAs should have sent that out to the parent. And that is everything that I have so far.
All right. Principal Huntley.
Good evening, everybody. It's good to see you all in whichever form that we are in these days. So just wanted to kind of share the middle school's perspective here on the first quarter of the school year. We've made it through quarter 1, so that's a good thing. We've spent 3 weeks in distance learning, and this is our 8th week in the hybrid model. So when we look at those options, and my main thing going into this year was ensuring that we provide our students with the best possible education that we can, and ensuring that we have the rigor and the high expectations that we've had before, and transform that into this year regardless of the model that we're in. And I just have to say that from my vantage point, watching teachers, students, communicating with parents, I would say that this first quarter was a huge success given all of the challenges that we've encountered. And I couldn't be any more proud of the staff that we have here working together for the common good, whether it be a teacher out teaching from home and a staff filling in, or just everybody stepping up and helping out wherever they can. And if it wasn't for that type of situation, we be in a much harder spot right now. So I just have to give a huge shout out to all the staff here, and also the students. This is hard for them too. One thing that we noticed is 2 weeks of distance learning is about it as far as when you talk about engaging and keeping kids motivated. They started off, the first week was great. And we can just kind of tell that with distance learning, it's just hard to make those connections via through a camera. So We were happy to come back to hybrid this week, just to rejuvenate, get kids back in the building, and that's been a positive. So looking forward to a positive start to Q2. And unfortunately, I think Q2 is going to be just as big of a challenge, if not more so. So we're ready for that challenge, and we're going to keep communicating with parents the best that we can to ensure that they have all the information they need as we navigate this time together. And our main focus, like I said, is our kids and our teachers, and making sure that they stay healthy and safe. And our number one priority is delivering that education to our kids. And we're going to continue doing that throughout the remainder of this year. Whatever challenges come up, we will get through them together. So it's been a different year. This time of year, we'd be talking about Veterans Day programs and school dances and first choir and band concerts and such, but we're in a different time right now. So we're taking all of our victories as they come. And like I said, couldn't be happier with the way the first quarter has gone with everything that we've been handed. And I just want to thank everybody for their support, and look forward to continuing working with all of you as we go through the rest of the school year. So thank you.
Gotta say all that again.
Principal Hickey.
Good evening, everyone. Sorry, I'm not going to be turning the internet at my house is not very good, so I find it works a lot better with my camera off, and you could actually hear me then. I want to thank Alondra and Mr. Huntley for taking most of my and we were able to get kids back in our building today, which was amazing. Very happy to have them back and to have them in front of our teaching staff once again. So, so with the start of the second, we have another option available to us in hybrid. We have hybrid level 1, which is 1 day a week that we've used so far this year. And now we are prepared for hybrid level 2, which will allow us to bring our students that are in hybrid learning in twice a week. So the thought behind this is that we wanted to keep our hybrid 1, which is a very, very safe model. And we wanted to be able to go to that and have an option available if we see our numbers start increasing, and we could move to a more restrictive, a more safer model and keep our kids in school as long as we can. It is feasible now with the number of students that are in choice distance learning that we can get our students in 2 days a week with just a little bit of finessing and moving some of our kids around a little bit, that we are able to maintain social distancing and a very safe environment with having our kids in 2 days a week. And we have seen so far throughout this year that having our kids in the building yields the best for the students and for our staff. So that's about it for the high school, unless anybody has any questions.
Scott.
Okay. Thanks, Scott. No congratulatory tonight. Budget development calendar.
Okay, within your board packets is a copy of the budget development calendar for the 2021-2022 school year budget. It starts with this month with the presentation of the budget calendar, and then also the adoption of the MEA seniority list. And that's really one of the first steps in the budget process, is establishing that. Then we move forward into December, and we will have the Truth and Taxation hearing, the approval of the audit for fiscal year 20, and the final certification of our levy for 20 payable 21. And then also we'll have the resolution directing the administration to develop recommendations on staffing programs and budgets. And that's the first step we take then in order to make any changes in programming, and if we need to make any budget cuts in the coming year, that's one of the first steps that we take there. For the past 9 or 10 years, that's been really routine. This year, it may not be. This year, we probably will be making recommendations for some budget reductions. If the state's facing a $5 billion deficit, and a lot of that's going to roll back into the schools as well, so we're going to be hit financially there. So we, we'll be taking a good hard look at that and making those recommendations. So, like I said, we've been a long time since we've had to go through and really do that process. And I look for it to be as hard a hit as we took when we last went through that. But I do think that it is going to be, we're going to be seeing some reductions that have to be needed. And we're going to have to eventually start trimming back, and now it has become a reality. Then the calendar itself just goes back on through the steps that are necessary if we are going to have any unrequested leaves of absence, and depending on where any cuts fall, we may or may not have any. First thing you look at are the people on the seniority list, where they fall, and you typically you will have to reduce the people that are not tenured prior to those that are. Those that are not tenured do not leave, they get terminated. And then it's that are involved in there, and it goes on up through till the end of the year meeting on June 20, where that will be the final time for us to approve our revised budget for the current year and the budget for starting the new year, which begins on July 1st. There are possible times in there for some special meetings if we need, in order to discuss and to, as we're working our way through that. And we do have those meetings scheduled in for each month as we go. As long as we're meeting the timelines, everything will run smoothly. If we fall behind on the things, then we're going to have to catch it back up. Otherwise, you run into the problem that you get down to the end and you have time to make the necessary changes. So it is very essential that not only that we have a calendar in place, but that we follow it.
Any questions on the budget calendar? 2.2, Wrestling Cooperative. Bob, do you want to talk about that?
Certainly. So this is the 8th year that we've been in cooperative wrestling program with both Dawson Boyd and Lac-Pearl Valley. Before that, the two of them had been together for a number of years. Our numbers were dwindling fairly rapidly. In 2014-15, well, let's go back further than that, 2011-12, I think we had 17 kids with the forecast of having 14 the next year, and at the time it was 14. So that last year we were on our own. We were getting on the bus, and had we won every match by a pin, we still, because of the kids that we had. So that was kind of the reasoning for the co-op. In the 8 years, it's been for all three communities, it's been a positive thing. But last spring, there started to be some talk locally here about maybe we, and evidently there was some talk in their two communities as well, because about 3 weeks ago, the three activities directors met, and blindsided because it didn't surprise me a bit, but it was said by those other two communities that they were hearing from their communities that maybe the two of them being together, they're feeling as though their participation has dropped because of the amount of it. Over the last 2 years, we've provided roughly half of the wrestlers in the program. 2 years ago, I believe it was a little over half, and last year was kind of right at half. So the three communities are all kind of feeling, I guess, the same thing. There's no documentation, there's no data that says we'll get more. I think the general consensus is a thought that if we don't have to travel to Dawson, we'll pick up additional wrestlers. If not, they will pick up additional wrestlers, and we'd be able to have two teams. So that's kind of where it came from. And I guess maybe time that we go on our own and see how it goes. It's not like it's a lifelong decision that we can never look at some other options in the future, but it's maybe time to try it back as Montevideo solely. We do need to make a decision fairly quickly would be good. December is fine, because it's a new realignment here at the high school league level, and that would allow us to be placed in a section as Montevideo alone. In fact, cause some confusion as to who's in which section and section changes. So if we could make a decision December, maybe even in January, to dissolve the co-op effective next school year would be the best case scenario.
So the impact would be for 2021, 2022.
21-22, correct. We're already, it's too late to do it this year. I kind of got to start building a schedule in December. So if I feel that we're in the school, I'm moving forward building a schedule for next year. If we want to have anything that makes sense as a schedule.
Sure.
I've heard Darren Balkan has a lot of free time, so I think he can be our coach next year.
Who's that?
We didn't hear you a lot.
Well, I've heard that Darren Balkan has a lot of free time on his hands, so maybe he can help coach next year.
I don't think I'm a good wrestler, so.
All right, thanks for the information. Any other questions?
I don't have questions. First reading, Board Bill 3.
And Mr. Huntley can address that.
This is really interesting, and really the reason that this little change came about was basically semantics on how the county interprets the statute. So when we have been meeting with our attendance committees, so we meet with the county and other buildings to discuss our attendance concerns, and we've had quite a few that meet the additional neglect, but as through the county, it didn't. And where it didn't was where they see the number of days that are missed, they see those as full days that a student is unexcused. So, for example, like I had a student informed that logged into class for attendance for 1 minute and then was marked present, but was gone the whole rest of the day excused, that would not count as an unexcused day. So what we would like to do as far as the language goes is just to make sure that the equivalent equals up to a full day. And then that's how we report it, is full days unexcused. So that would mainly be through grade 6 that we would use that language to report to the county as number of full days. So that's really the only reason for it, was just so that in policy, and then the county will use that as part of their measure to file forward. So I know that Bill had talked about a lot of kids missing a lot of half days. And there really was nothing. We had one student, and Bill, you can correct me if I'm wrong, that had missed like 21 afternoons, which if you put those half days together, that's 11 full days of school that were missed unexcused. And it was screened out because they weren't full days. And I don't think that's really the nature of the law. I think the nature of the law is to ensure that students are receiving the education that they deserve. And when we have students that have missed 80 some class periods screened in, that's kind of a concern for me. So if changing our policy to include equivalent days to equal full days is gonna move the needle a little bit to get these families the support that they need, then I think it's a good step to take in that direction. So that's the reason for the sentence or two at the end of the policy. So. Any questions on that? Concerns?
No questions. That's good.
And that was the first reading, so we'll have the second reading next month.
Yes.
Okay, thanks. Thank you, Sean.
Welcome.
3.1 action items. Teacher seniority list. Did everybody have a chance to go through that?
Yes, sir.
It's been reviewed by administration, it's been reviewed by staff members, and it would be correct.
Okay.
I'll move to approve the teacher seniority list.
Thank you, Andrew.
I'll second.
Thank you, Travis. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll do a roll call vote. Kelly.
Aye.
Travis.
Aye. Aye.
Andrew.
Aye.
And Vulcan's an aye. So. Okay. 3.2, final reading of board policies. 533, 422, oh geez.
So 6 policies that had changes that came about because of changes in the statute, with the exception of the wellness policy, and the changes in there came through our natural internal review of the policy and bringing it up to what the guidelines were on that.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Thank you, Travis. Anyway. Kelly, thanks, Kelly. Any further discussion? If not, hearing none, no roll call vote. Again, Kelly, Travis,
Aye.
Andrew,
Aye.
and Vulcan is an aye. Also, Adopt resolution establishing combined polling places.
Okay, this has to be done annually, and this are any special elections that we might hold, you can get by within just one polling place. And typically, we have that at the time. Failure to do this means that you have to open all of the polling places for the poll typically be open on an election day. And all of a sudden, your election becomes much more expensive and
Yeah. Okay. I'll make a motion to adopt that
Thank you,
resolution.
Andrew.
Second.
Thank you, Kelly. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Kelly.
Aye.
Travis.
Aye.
Andrew.
Aye.
Hawkins is an aye. Okay. Ratification of 2020-21 educational assistance. Does anyone want to make a motion to?
Yeah, I'll move to ratify the contract.
Thank you, Travis. Anyone want a second?
Can we get a second?
Thanks, Kelly. Any further discussion? Roll call vote again. Kelly.
Aye.
Travis.
Aye.
Andrew.
Aye.
Also. Is that it?
no executive session.
Huh?
No.
Right. Skip some.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Travis.
Second. Thank you all.
Thanks, everyone.